Alright, Dior's Two Figs. Did you know that Dior has two fig fragrances? One strictly targeted to men called Dune pour Homme, another one targeted unisex called Balade Sauvage. Well, today I'm comparing these two fragrances, and I think both are unisex enough for both sexes to wear. Of course, this is definitely unisex, it's targeted unisex. This is targeted to men, but I think women can pull it off. So if you want to find out about these two figgy fragrances from the house of Dior, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today I'm talking about Balade Sauvage and Dune pour Homme. And I've been wanting to do this video for some time, but I put it aside. I wasn't really keen on doing it really quickly. Eventually I was going to end up doing it, but a few of you asked me recently about Dune pour Homme, Dior's men's fragrance that came out in 1997, and I thought, you know what, it's time for me to do a video and compare these two, especially since they're both from the house of Dior. This is from the Maison Christian Dior collection, and this, even though it doesn't sell at retailers here in the USA, I have not seen it. I do see it in France when I travel there, but you can find them at the discounters, and I see it on Dior's website for Europe, so it's definitely still a fragrance that exists. It just doesn't make its way here unless you go to, the discounters. But, I thought let's do the comparison today and let you know all about these two fragrances, especially since you like fig fragrances. And I know there's many of you that are fans of this, so you might compare these two and see which one you like better. But before we do all that, if this is your first time tuning into this channel and you still haven't subscribed to this channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So in the later 90s, I discovered Dune pour Homme. I felt like when I first smelled it, immediately took me back to the Mediterranean where I used to live. And I love the smell of the sea with green, earthy, woody kind of trees nearby. So when there's a wind or a breeze, you can kind of smell the tree itself, and also, the Mediterranean sea breeze and all that good stuff where you can get the marine notes and all that kind of stuff. So this actually kind of reminds me of that. It is a fragrance launched in 97. It's an aromatic green fragrance, or actually aromatic woody fragrance also, because it's got lots of woody notes. The perfumer, actually there's two perfumers for this. It's Olivier Cresp, who also created many iconic fragrances like Angel for women, and he has his own brand now, Acro. But there's also a second perfumer here, Jean-Pierre Betouard, I think is how you say his name. So as I said, this is not sold in any stores I've seen in currently in the USA, but originally I saw it at our Macy's here in San Francisco, and I had bought a bottle then because I really loved the way it smelled. So the notes here are fig leaf, fig fruit, sandalwood, cassis, hedione, clary sage, rose, cedar, tonka beans, and basil. So the fragrance itself is a very aromatic and green fragrance, but it's also very, very fresh. For me, what I get is actually being at the beach with trees nearby and sitting on the sand, and you can smell the sea breeze. You're not really dipping in the water, you're not going swimming, but maybe you're sunning, like you're laying out in the sun on the sand and you're getting some suntan and you're just basically sunning. You can smell the sea coming at you, the smell of the sea breeze and the air, and of course the marine smell that's in the sea, but you're also getting the smell of the trees. The trees are really close to you, and fig trees in general are very, very pungent. They have a strong odor. So you can smell them, especially when you're really close to it. Also, if you've ever played around with fig trees, you've picked the leaves and things like that, there's a milky residue that comes out inside. It's called fig milk. So all of those things come to mind with this, and don't forget the sand, because you are laying on the sand. There is a little bit of a sandy quality here as well. All that kind of stuff mixed together. It's for a wonderful fragrance. Again, this is Dune pour Homme. There used to be, or there still is, I think, a Dune for women, but this is the Dune pour Homme. They're completely different fragrances, and I felt like it's a great, great scent. So it's ozonic, it's aquatic, definitely on the fruity side and fresh side, and lots of aromatic touches because aromatic notes are pretty prominent here. And according to Dior's website, the European website that lists this, they've listed three notes. They've listed sandalwood, they've listed, was it sandalwood or cedar? One of the two notes. But they've definitely listed fig leaves, and according to Dior's website, the fig leaves, it says that it has fruity nuances and milky lactonic nuances because of, as I was mentioning, the fig milk. I don't really get fruitiness from the leaves itself, definitely comes from the fig fruit itself, but I suppose in the chemistry you can figure out ways of the fig leaves smelling like fruit. I don't really know personally myself, but personally when I smell the green leaves of the fig leaves, it's not fruity. So they also list that there's hedione in here, which is a jasmine-like smell. And then, of course, the woody note of sandalwood or cedar. It's a great scent. It's currently selling at FragranceNet for $75 for 100 ml. It's not, you know, like ultra discounted because obviously when you go buy them at suggested retail, it's probably around $100. If it is sold here in the States, obviously it's not, but you know, $75 is a great price for a 100 ml bottle for a fragrance that's really not really widely distributed at all, distributed here in the States. And so I feel like it's recommended. And if you've never smelled this and you like the smell of fig and green fragrances, aromatic fragrances, fruity fragrances, ozonic, aquatic, definitely check this one out. I highly recommend it. As I said, it's still running, and you could still see it in France. I mean, when I travel to France or other parts of Europe, I see this fragrance there in their stores, but it's not selling in our stores anyway. So that's Christian Dior, or Dior's Dune Pour Homme. Now, how does it compare to Balade Sauvage? So I feel like the ideas are similar, but they're executed differently. This one, I guess it's inspired by the island of Panarea. I think according to Dior's website, the island of Panarea in Italy. So there's a minerally smell according to the notes, according to Francois Demachy's notes on Dior's website. And so he's apparently inspired by this minerally ozonic kind of smell because this is that kind of a fragrance. I've never been to Panarea, so I don't know how that island smells, but that's what it says. But this is a 2018 launch. This itself is 97, so it's about almost 20 years, 21 years before this. Woody ozonic, I would call this a woody aromatic, perhaps fruity woody. All those come to mind. 250 ml is 320, 125 ml is 220. So it is from the Maison Christian Dior collection, and I feel like this is one of the solid releases from that collection. For notes, fig tree, fig fruit, solar notes, aldehydes, marine notes, peach, petitgrain, labdanum, orange blossom, bergamot, and hedione. Once again, we got hedione here, and I'm going to spray this one because now I'm totally like got the other smell in my mind, and I want to kind of get a refresher of this one, just to kind of like let you know what the differences are. Let me spray the other one here as well. So, what I really like about the smell of Balade Sauvage, in comparison to Dune Pour Homme, it's fruitier. There's major fruitiness with Balade Sauvage in comparison to the Dune Pour Homme. So that's definitely different, but when you strip away the fruitiness, I almost end up with a similar fragrance, whereas Dune Pour Homme does go a lot greener than Balade Sauvage. In the end, we're dealing with fig fragrances, and with this one, again, I get lots of minerally touches, but there's lots of aldehydic touches as well. There's some fizzy qualities here, and then of course there's loads of ozonic qualities as well. There's a very much earthiness in this one, but definitely sweeter. I feel like this is much sweeter than Dune Pour Homme. The fruits just pop, and if there really is a peach in here, there is a light peachiness, but I feel like the fig fruit is more prominent than the peachiness. And there is that kind of like beachy quality as well. Solar notes, whenever they add those notes in here, there's definitely a beachy take on a smell, and this one definitely comes off as a beachy, figgy, solar, mineral kind of a creation. I think this is great. It's a great scent. It's a nice upgrade to Dune Pour Homme. Whereas Dune goes completely green and not so fruity, even though there's fruits in there. This one goes totally fruity. And again, maybe you're at the, this island, and you're actually on big pieces of rock that's on the water, and you've probably swam a little bit, and you've kind of climbed up on this rock, and you're, laying down, and you're sunning, and maybe you get a whiff of some kind of fig tree nearby. I don't know if there is such a thing that fig trees grow so close to the water, but that's the inspiration I get with this one. It's like you've swam a little bit in the water, you've got this kind of like body saltiness, and you've got the sun, and you've got, you know, smell of that mineral from the rock that you're on, and the ocean, the marine, the sky, the aldehydes, the sun and solar notes. It's that kind of a fragrance. I feel like this is ultra solid. It's one of my favorite Maison Christian Dior fragrances, and even though they're sort of in a similar idea, they're different executions completely. So that's my thoughts on these two fragrances. Let me know what you think about these two fragrances. Have you tried Balade Sauvage? Are you a fan? Have you tried Dune Pour Homme? Are you a fan? If you are a fan of each, let me know. And also let me know, have you compared these two fragrances together? And if you have, what do you experience? Again, this goes much greener than this, and this goes much fruitier than this. But in the end, I think the ideas kind of started similar, but the executions were different. But they're also both from, you know, the house of Christian Dior, or Dior. And I feel like if you like the idea of fig fragrances, definitely check both of them out. And again, this is targeted to men. I feel like women should be able to pull this one off, especially if you like green fragrances. Fig fragrances are very unisex to me. So definitely don't skip this one if you don't, I mean, if you thought about skipping it, because I feel like women can totally pull this one off. And this one, very unisex. It might actually even be slight bit feminine leaning for some men, I think. But to me, it's very unisex, and it's one of my favorite Maison Christian Dior fragrances. I love the fruitiness and the whole ozonic mineral, you know, beachy kind of qualities. Anyway, those are my thoughts for these two fragrances. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below, and let me know in general. Do you like this note fig fragrance, fig and fragrances? Do you like fig or figgy fragrances? And do you like the fruitier aspects of the fig, or the fruitier fig fragrances, or do you like the green leafy? Earthy, woody, you know, fig fragrances? Put some comments down so I can find out. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching today. Please do like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.